All right, everybody. This is a bit of a change of scene. Um, Before we begin, shout out Luke. He's sick this week, so we're just rocking a two-man show. But he did give me his picks for the divisional round of the national championship, so we have that to talk about. But
Who
what is
needs
up,
it? I'm just kidding.
football world? Sorry to interrupt you, Dante. What is up, football world? Um, we are your hosts. As we said during the first season of this podcast, Adam
Dante.
and it's funny, we were going back the other day listening to old episodes and thinking like, man, the OG days were so fun. And here we are.
Yeah. Before that dude Luke joined, who needs him? I'm joking,
Yeah.
of course, but
Yeah. Well,
obviously I'm joking.
hey, shout out Luke. He's in the apartment. He's just chilling,
Yeah,
doing his thing today. So
slacker. I'm just a Luke hater today. This is not authentic, I promise, but
yeah, I get it, man. I get it. Well, we got a lot to talk about today, so we won't waste any of your time.
let's do it.
So why don't we start with a little head coaching carousel? We've got six teams in need of a head coach right now,
Mhm.
and we did have seven, but the Patriots did hire Mike Vrabel as their next head coach. That was on Monday, I believe. We'll have some bits on that next week when Luke is on the show. I'll let him talk about his thoughts on it as a Patriots fan. But we've got six teams here in need of a new leader, and Dante and I are here to give you who we think will be the name. So I guess we can go ahead and start with the Bears. I would say, from what I've seen, I'm thinking it's going to be Mike McCarthy. I would love to see Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams together. I think that would work out very well. But all the rumors right now point toward Mike McCarthy going to Chicago. I think it would be a great hire because, I mean, he showed this year he could win with guys like Cooper Rush. He doesn't need Dak Prescott as his quarterback. And to me, Caleb Williams, 5 years down the road, probably a better quarterback than Dak Prescott will be.
Yeah.
And if he's still the coach there, maybe he's the guy to finally take them back to the playoffs. And it'd be funny because this guy used to coach the Green Bay Packers, and now he's going to the other side of that rivalry. So, yeah, I'm thinking McCarthy, but Dante, what do you think?
I'll probably go with McCarthy too, but I think if you're the Bears, you do everything in your power to get Ben Johnson. I mean, because he is out of all the head coaching candidates, he'd be number one on my list, you know. Like, not to make it about the Steelers, but I'd highly consider taking Ben Johnson over Mike Tomlin right now. And I'm a Mike Tomlin guy, but Ben Johnson, the best OC in the league, and the Bears would be stupid at least to not go after him. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I don't blame you for putting him over Mike Tomlin. I mean, a lot of Steeler fans right now have their choice words about that guy, which we'll get into, of course. I know you're a Tomlin supporter, and I've got nothing wrong with that because
yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of the day, he's one of the better coaches in football. So,
Hmm.
but moving on, we got the Jaguars, and I had a hard time coming up with a name for Jacksonville. And I was between two different guys, but the one I'm going to go with is a former head coach, and that is Robert Saleh. It was either going to be him or the Buccaneers OC Liam Cohen. And to me, after hearing a lot about Jacksonville, they had a pretty god awful defense this year. We know how good Robert Saleh is with defenses. I believe the Jets were the second best defense in the NFL when he got fired. I still can't believe they fired him that early. That was just catastrophic. But I do think he deserves another shot. And I think a team like Jacksonville will give it to him. As long as he makes the right offensive hires, I don't think you have to prioritize bringing in an offensive minded coach for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he proved he can win with a guy like Doug Peterson. I don't know if Doug Peterson's offense or defense, but I think Saleh's your guy. I think you go out and you get him. But what do you think?
I actually I went with Kellen Moore. I think Kellen Moore
Oh,
going to be the Jags next head
I've
coach.
heard
And
things about him.
yeah, Eagles OC, I feel like he could really, I mean, not that Trevor Lawrence hasn't taken a step, but I feel like the Jaguars view Trevor Lawrence as like capable of being a top 10 to maybe even like top 5 or 6 quarterback in the league because he's shown that he has that capability. And I think if I'm the Jags, I'm completely maximizing that potential for Trevor Lawrence by bringing in such a good offensive mind. But the defensive minded thing about forgive me, I've
Saleh.
Salah, um, yeah, that's totally valid too. But yeah, I think this league is so offense oriented that I feel like teams are trying to adapt to that. So I think Kellen Moore would be a good pick for them.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, their last head coach was a former Eagles staff member,
True.
so that could work out.
Yeah.
Moving on, we've got the New Orleans Saints, maybe my worst favorite team in the NFL right now. It's them or the Falcons. It changes every day. But one name came to mind for me here, and that is a guy who used to be in the state of Louisiana and is a hot up and coming name, and that is Joe Brady, OC for the Bills. Now, Panthers fans know this guy all too well. He's a former Carolina OC, did not work out here at all. Got fired in, I believe, his second season on the job, maybe even his first. I can't remember. But since then, he's gone to Buffalo. He was their QB coach. When they fired Ken Dorsey, he got elevated to OC, and he's done a fantastic job with Josh Allen leading this Bills offense. And I think an offensive mind like that could be exactly what the Saints need. We know how they started last year, 2-0, blowing out two teams, 40 bombs in each game. Maybe Joe Brady can instill that and keep it consistent for the rest of the season instead of just dropping off after 2 weeks. But I like the idea of Joe Brady going back to Louisiana.
Mhm. And that's the exact reason I also picked Joe Brady.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, basically all the things you just said. I mean, the Saints are a relatively young team offensively, except for maybe like Kamara, but young receiver in Olave. Is Rattler going to be their guy in the future? Maybe. If not, is Derek Carr still on a contract in New
He
Orleans?
is.
He is.
Yes.
So I could definitely see him, jumping in there. But if they go with Rattler, I feel like, young offensive team could really use a nice offensive mind. So yeah, I like Joe Brady in New Orleans. I feel like that'd be cool.
Me too. Moving on, we've got the Dallas Cowboys. We heard, I believe this was on Monday as well, that Mike McCarthy will not be returning to Dallas. They only had until, I believe, midnight on Monday going into Tuesday to figure out what the heck they were doing with him, saying whether they were going to bring him back or not, because his contract was expiring. They were refusing other teams access to interview him. But ultimately, McCarthy was like, yeah, I don't want to be back here. Jerry Jones said, fine. They parted ways, and now Dallas needs a new coach again. Now, there's been a name that Jerry Jones has called, and I think you might know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
And I saw a report yesterday that that certain someone is having disputes with some NIL at a certain college. I think Coach Prime's coming to Dallas.
Oh,
This is going to be my bold one. I really think they're going to get him here.
yeah.
I don't know how hard it's going to be to get it done, but I think at the end of the day, I mean, Deion Sanders, this if you're going to leave Colorado, right now might be the time. I get you've got a hot quarterback recruit coming in, I believe they do. But I believe both his sons are done playing there. His better son could be the first overall pick in this year's draft. Who knows? Maybe the Cowboys trade up and get him somehow. They get rid of Dak, but I don't know. The opportunity to coach in the NFL might be one that Deion Sanders cannot pass up.
Hmm.
And I think he takes it. I think Jerry Jones brings prime time back to Dallas.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That would be actually insane. I think it would be a catastrophic failure because
It might be.
I
I
don't
could see that happening too.
I don't think Deion Sanders is a great coach. Um, I could see it being similar, and I'm sorry, Adam, to say this. I could see it being similar to like an Urban Meyer situation. It gives off
Oh,
that same vibe a little bit. Um,
maybe Coach Prime doesn't get in the wrong off the field headlines like Urban Meyer did.
it's true, and Urban Meyer was also like a decorated, like all-time great college head coach, and Deion
Right.
Sanders is like decent. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with for my pick. I'm gonna go with Todd Monken from the Ravens.
Okay.
In my opinion, one of the most underrated um, coordinators in the NFL. He is extremely good offensively. He works with, I mean, a receiving core in Baltimore and, really maximizes that. So if he went to Dallas, I could really see him maximizing CeeDee Lamb even more so than McCarthy did. But yeah, I like Todd Monken in Dallas. I don't even know if they've interviewed him, but I feel like that'd be a good pick for them.
Yeah. I don't know either. I'm sure they'll be interviewing a lot of guys, but
Yeah,
I like this idea too. I think it could work out. And I'm not saying Coach Prime to Dallas is going to be a great thing either. I
yeah,
think it
yeah.
very well fail.
Hmm.
I'm not sold on Deion Sanders as a coach either, but The Cowboys love the attention. They love making headlines, and I think this is one way they could do it.
I feel like if that happens, people are gonna hate Dallas so much more than they already do. Like I know, like I don't even dislike Dallas that much. Like
Yeah,
they have some good players that I like, and I don't know. I really do like Dak Prescott. I think he's a good dude, but
too.
man, I'll say it. I dislike Deion Sanders. I don't like him, and yeah, that would make them so easy to root against for
Yeah.
my
Their
anyway.
their fans are what gets me against them the most, probably. They've got a good amount of players I like. I mean, Micah Parsons, Penn State legend, of
Yeah,
course.
I love Micah. He's great. And
Mhm.
he seems loyal to that organization, which is cool. But
Yeah. Anyways, moving on, we've got the Jets and the Raiders left. First off, the Jets, perhaps maybe the most dumpster fire organization out of these. Although, believe it or not, they do have some pieces that some other coaches might want.
Mhm.
And there's a guy I heard that really wants to coach there. That was a former player that is going to be my pick. And that is DC for the Detroit Lions. Aaron Glenn is going to be my pick for the Detroit, or not for the Detroit Lions, for the New York Jets. Um, I picture this as a D'Amico Ryans type of hire, former player for the franchise, someone that I don't know how old he is, but I believe he could be on the younger side. Um, Hot rising name, uh, defensive coordinator for one of the best teams in the league. And now you go on to be a head coach. Maybe he's finally the guy that gets the Jets back to the playoffs. And also because I don't feel confident enough to pick Rex Ryan to go back to New York. I've heard all about that, and I'm
Yeah.
just that how you feel about Coach Prime is how I feel about Rex Ryan. I'm just not sure it'd work out at all.
I don't know. I couldn't agree more, honestly.
Um, but yeah, I mean, especially with we don't know about Aaron Rodgers coming back. I don't think that the new head coach should have to worry about that. I honestly don't think Aaron Rodgers will be back anyways. But I think the Jets just need a new image, a new direction. It worked out for a good amount of time with the defensive coach. Why not try it again? And
Mhm.
I think Glenn would be perfect. Someone, keep in mind, the Jets are so bad right now. You should want someone that's actually interested in your job to
Yeah.
coach.
Hmm.
Don't pass this up. You're
Yeah.
not going to get a lot of people who are like, yeah, I willingly want to coach the New York Jets. So don't pass this up.
Yeah. For my Jets pick, Adam, you made some great points, and I feel like that would be the right pick. But we're talking about the Jets here, and I have them hiring Arthur Smith as their next head coach.
Wow.
Yeah. They ended
Now, when you said it's the Jets, it was either him or Matt Nagy that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Seen a lot about Arthur Smith.
Yeah, I think Arthur Smith is going to get hired by the Jets, which honestly scares me a little bit because I heard some rumors that if he does get hired by the Jets, um, him and Fields are going to team up in New York, which I'd be like so bummed out about because I want Fields back as a Steeler so bad. But
Me
uh,
too.
yeah, I really have no logic for this. It just seems like Arthur Smith. He just seems like a Jets head coach. I don't know, but
He
yeah,
does. It seems like Adam Gase all over again.
exactly. Yes,
But yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd like about Fields on the Jets is maybe Garrett Wilson gets to stay and he can play with Fields. But that's it.
I would be gassed,
I want Fields to stay. I want
but
him to stay too.
like if Fields stays, the Steelers could go get Emeka Ibuka, so
Right.
all would be fixed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But anyways, we're on to the last team here, the Las Vegas Raiders. And there's one guy I haven't said yet, and I'm gonna say it here. I think Ben Johnson is a Las Vegas Raider. It has been clear Tom Brady's involved in the search. This is the guy he wants. Tom Brady is not only wanting Ben Johnson to come coach the Raiders, he's calling Ben Johnson's game tomorrow
Mhm.
with the Commanders and Lions. So yeah, I think it would be great too. I mean, a great offensive mind. If the Raiders can find their quarterback, I mean, they have Brock Bowers already. Jacoby Myers isn't horrible. Figure out some other pieces on offense, and you might be going somewhere. But I think Ben Johnson would be a great guy to bring in, especially if you can get the quarterback for him.
Yeah, I also went with Ben Johnson here. Um, Basically, some of the reasons you just said, and I don't know, man. I feel like the Raiders see their offense and definitely see some room for growth. But man, if you give Ben Johnson a guy like Brock Bowers, who could play like a similar like Sam Laporta role, or I honestly think Brock Bowers right now is a better tight end than Laporta. So maybe even
I
an
agree,
expanded role.
100%.
But yeah, I feel like he would bring a new modern culture to the Jets. Not saying Antonio Pierce didn't, but
The Raiders, not the Jets.
the Raiders. So sorry. Yeah. The
Oh,
Jets would never hire Ben Johnson. They're not that smart. Um but yeah, you get what I mean. I feel like the Raiders would have a newfound like modern like element to them that would make them more enjoyable to watch, especially for their fans. And yeah, it would make like having Ben Johnson in the AFC West with already Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, and Sean Payton, that would be pretty fun to watch. That'd be a pretty solid conference head coach wise. But yeah, I'd like to see Ben Johnson go to the Raiders.
yeah, yeah, me too. So then that's all for the head coaching carousel. If more openings happen in the next week or so, we'll talk about it next week. Although at this point, I don't think anything else is going to open up
Yeah,
unless maybe a team like the Bills finally wants to move on from McDermott and they lose. But we'll see what happens. I don't
that
know.
would be crazy. I don't really see that happening.
I don't either, but just throwing it out.
Yep. Anyway.
All right. Did you want to talk about the Steelers before the games? Up to you.
Uh, how about I talk about the Steelers? Actually, yeah, I'll talk about them right now.
Whatever you want, man.
Yeah. Um, I mean,
Sorry to throw you on the spot.
no, no, you're all good. You know, it's been about a week since we lost, and I don't know. Going into that game, I genuinely thought we had a real significant chance to win that game, just because of our recent success against the Ravens. But I don't know, man. I really can't tell you what the issue is. Defense looked the worst it looked, especially against the run, like all season. Offense started slow, got a couple like nice conversions in the first half, but really never got on their feet until the second half. But yeah, man, I don't think this is so much about the Steelers playing poorly. I just think the Ravens executed incredibly well and way better than we did. Um, yeah, that was going to be a tough game regardless. Um, we had guys playing injured, guys, Patrick Queen, playing with the flu, Cam Hayward playing with the flu. It was just bad luck, I think. But also like we shot ourselves in the foot sometimes. Like, I don't know, offensively, drives stalling out, not getting first downs when we needed to. Um, I don't know, but then in the second half, um, the offense came out firing. We really were in that game. But man, the defense just could not get a stop in crucial moments, and that's really what hurt us. But compared to recent years, recent playoff games, this wasn't insanely bad. I mean, we did give up like 300 yards on the ground, so that's going to be an infamous stat for a long time. But yeah, a lot of question marks for the Steelers. This really hurt losing our last five. I feel like the Pitt Panthers right now because they went
Yeah,
7-0 and lost their last five, and yeah, isn't yeah this it sucks, but nope, it's mock draft season, so give me Justin Fields as my quarterback next year and build around him. Go get a stud wide receiver, whether that's T Higgins, Garrett Wilson, or a guy in the draft. But yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, it sucks. I don't have my full thoughts right now since it still is kind of fresh, but I'm just after that 4 game skid and after we got down at half, I was just like, I just want this season to be over with. I'm tired of stressing myself out over this. I already had a bad day watching Penn State lose to Notre Dame, which that was awful. And that honestly hurt me more because we were so close. But
I
um
know. I
anyway,
know.
yeah, I'm still a ride or die Pittsburgh fan till I
Oh,
die.
of course, you gotta be. And hey, I will just say, if they somehow get Garrett Wilson, that's another Jersey cop for me.
Absolutely. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
GP and G Dub, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be sick, but
But man, yeah, I know it hurts. I had higher hopes for this game than I did maybe other playoff games, just because, like you said, divisional opponent. But I still saw some things I'd seen in previous years. They went down big, and then when they tried to come back, it was just too late. I
yeah.
don't know what to do. I mean,
I mean, you
it's
could
just
blame.
like
Go on. What are you saying?
offense wasn't clicking for an entire half. I mean, TJ's great, but he was kind of a non-factor, and I hate to say it, you might be seeing a tiny bit of regression from him, but he's been doing this for a long time, and he's still fantastic.
Yeah.
Don't don't get me wrong, but I don't know. There's tons of questions. Both quarterbacks are free agents. Both running backs are free agents too, right?
Jalen Warren's not. No, he's
Okay,
still a contract.
good,
Yeah.
good. Um, yeah, who knows what happens with Najee then? There's a lot of other things to figure out, but Omar Khan has done a fine job the last few years. I have faith in him to figure this out. And I think they know at this point this can't keep happening. We got to make some changes for the better here.
Yeah, and the one hope that I have, talking about change on the coaching staff, you can't bring back Terrell Austin, man. He
I agree.
the underperformance with such a good defense, like on paper, is ridiculous. But I would like to see a new OC in there. Um, I appreciate what Arthur Smith did. He definitely did bring some success to the team for sure, and I'm grateful for him. But I feel like we just need more. But he's obviously going to the
Maybe you'll
Giants.
get your wish, man. Maybe
Yeah,
Arthur will go coach somewhere and
yeah.
go be the new OC.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's how I feel about the Steelers right now. Still in the Tomlin like supporting cast, maybe a little bit less right now. I'm definitely tilting my head a little bit, but um, we'll see where it goes. Who knows?
You
But
know what I wish right now? You know who I wish was still on the Steelers staff and was maybe their defensive coordinator is Brian Flores.
Flores, yeah,
That would have been fantastic this year.
I could not agree more. Imagine Brian Flores with TJ Watt, Patrick Queen, Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward, and even guys like Highsmith and Herbig, like, bro, like that would have been, but like that guy would have been so hard to bring back, but
Yeah.
anyway, he could be a head coach,
I
honestly.
know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But let's jump into some divisional round games here. We started this playoff with 14 teams, and we're now down to eight. We saw six lose last weekend. Some surprises, some maybe not. We were all very wrong on the Chargers.
Yeah.
All had LA winning. I believe you also missed on, well, the Steelers, and you and I both missed on Tampa Bay, and I missed on the Vikings.
Yep. Yep.
Luke missed on the Vikings and the Chargers as well.
hmm
So I do have Luke's picks here going into these games. So first game we got is the Texans versus the Chiefs. Kansas City hasn't played football. Their starters haven't played football in like an entire month, basically, to this point. Their last full starters game was the game they beat the Steelers.
hmm
The guys have been resting since then. They are refreshed. They're ready
Wow.
to go.
Really? It's
It's
been
been
that
that,
long.
yeah,
My goodness.
it's been that long since Patrick Mahomes has played football.
Jeez.
But unlike teams like Oregon in the college football playoff, who we saw just look thrown off and not ready, I don't think that happens with Kansas City. I think the resting to them is an advantage. It's Patrick Mahomes and Arrowhead you're going against. And I love CJ Stroud. I think the Texans offense is going to give them a game, but we know how this ends. It'll be close in the fourth quarter. Chiefs will work their dark magic and they'll pull out a win. That's how it always goes. And I think that's how it's going to go this Saturday. I'm thinking like a 24-19 kind of game, something like that.
Mhm.
But Kansas City will win. And bad news, everybody, the AFC Championship is once again going to be played in Arrowhead.
Yeah,
I should add, before you go, Luke also picked the Chiefs.
yeah, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs too. But I really could see the Texans winning this game if their defense played like they did against LA. Man, Will Anderson is on a tear right now. He's playing extremely well. Derek Stingley playing really well in their secondary. Um, but man, Kansas City is just a different animal, especially in the playoffs and especially at home in the playoffs. If you could give me like, say I get to pick like if the Steelers were playing a game, what's the last game you would want to play? It would be at Arrowhead in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like that's number one on my list. Like that's like hell for opposing teams in the NFL. Just because
And
the Chiefs are already so good and that atmosphere is insane. Like
now it is too, which is ironic because the last Steelers playoff win was in Arrowhead right before Mahomes came in. But
that
that place used to be like, yeah, we get to play Alex Smith in Arrowhead, sign me up. But
yeah.
now it's like I'm
It's
saying
play the most talented quarterback of all time.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But anyways, not
Yeah.
really much of a surprise there. Moving on, I am very excited for this game. 8 o'clock on Fox Saturday night. We've got the Commanders and the Lions. Washington pulled out a victory over Tampa Bay. Mister, Zane Gonzalez. Um, I'm
I
not
was
going to
watching
mock
that
that
live.
too much, though. I'm not going to mock it too much because I did read he actually has OCD, and that's why he does that a lot. But
Oh man. Oh
I'm
geez.
not going to mock it though.
No, definitely not.
It's still meme worthy though.
Yeah, for sure.
But, this will be a fun game. We've got two defenses that I don't know. The Lions defense is so good, but we know how banged up they are. But
Mhm.
two offenses. Jaden Daniels is fantastic. He's got Terry McLaurin and all those guys. The Lions are getting back Montgomery for this game. If there were they should take away no defenses, all the defense, no defenses, and have it like a 120 to 100 final. That'd be the game. But I think this is a definite scenario where we see both teams reach the 30 mark.
Mhm.
I really think that can happen. But if I had to pick someone, I mean, it's Detroit.
Yeah.
Commanders are great. They've had a fantastic run, but it's Washington or it's Detroit. What am I saying? I can't speak today. But yeah, Lions, I think, go to their second straight NFC championship. This time they'd be hosting.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna agree with you here. But sorry, Nap, I'm gonna be rooting for the Commanders pretty heavy here. I want to see them win this game super bad.
I don't
Um,
blame you, man.
yeah, but I just think the one suspect part about Washington is their I guess their run defense. It is suspect at times, and they have a major challenge going up against Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a top three running back in the league right now, and I don't think that's an insane thing to say. I think it's him, Henry,
At
and
all.
Saquon. But yeah, I think Gibbs is going to have a great game, and if Goff just plays his game, I don't see a world where the Lions lose this, to be honest. But
Yeah. Luke did pick Detroit,
mhm.
so
Cool.
shocker. Moving on, we've got our first game on Sunday, 3 p.m. The Rams and the Eagles. Luke is going with Philly, and I am going my upset here. My first upset pick of the playoffs. I'm taking the Rams. You can call me crazy. I get the whole thing. Oh, Matthew Stafford sucks when the game's in the snow, and this might be a snow game in Philly, but I watched both games last week. Philadelphia looked a little questionable against a bad Green Bay team and an unlucky Green Bay team with all the injuries they suffered. The Rams looked spectacular against the Vikings defense, and their defense, man, was incredible. The,
Mhm.
the Rams, no one talks about how well of a job they have done building this team up since their Super Bowl win.
Mhm.
I saw a video about it saying their front office has figured out two ways to win. First, it's the screw them picks way, trading all your first round picks for star players and winning a Super Bowl. Now it's finding all these hidden gems like back to back years in the fifth round, Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua a year later.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And I, I think we're going to get the Detroit LA rematch again. Call me crazy, but Philadelphia, we know how Philly is in the playoffs sometimes. I've said this time and time again. I'm a fan of Philadelphia's baseball team, and I had to watch them excuse my French, look like shit in the NLDS. It was horrible, dude. But that's not this, anyways. I love the Eagles. I love Jalen Hurts, but they are a type of team where when they are on, they can't be stopped. But when you've got question marks about them, things could go wrong. And I think this could be a game where things might go wrong. I think it's going to be close, but I'm taking LA.
I think this is a game where things go wrong, and I agree with you, Adam. I'm taking LA here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give myself some flowers, give myself the flowers from last
That's
week. I saw
right.
the vision.
Yeah,
I saw the vision and
you sure did.
didn't let me down, man. The Rams look good, and I just think the experience of Stafford is gonna lead them to another win here. And we're gonna get Goff or Stafford in the playoffs for the second time in as many years, which I'm so stoked about. If that does happen, could Philly win this game? Absolutely. They honestly, I mean, I'm sure they're the favorite, but I'm excited to see how Saquon plays. I'm excited to see how AJ Brown and that entire offense really plays. And I'm excited to, like you said, Stafford has been known to struggle in bad weather. Let's see if he could break that narrative, and I think he can. And I expect a big game from that defense, specifically Jared Verse, who was insane last game against the Vikings, played a really good game, and yeah, I like the Rams here. I don't know, just my hunch. I don't know. They just seem like the more um, I don't know, trustworthy team, which is strange to say, but it's true.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's going to happen though. Knowing I have a Phillies group chat that's all Eagles fans, they lose, they are calling for Sirianni's head. I promise you that's what will happen.
Yeah, probably.
They
Yeah.
will they will be doing it. I will open my phone to a bunch of fire Nick Sirianni texts, and I'll just be sitting here like, I have Dave Canales, I'm cool. You
Right.
have Mike Tomlin, you're cool. Luke has Mike Vrabel, he's cool.
Right. Exactly.
Couldn't be us.
Let
But anyways,
Last one.
this this is the game everyone I think is looking forward to this week.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the real toss up.
Yeah.
6:30 p.m. on Sunday night. You've got the Ravens and the Bills. These two played in the season, I think in week 4, and Baltimore destroyed Buffalo at home. But that was in week 4, and this is now in the middle of January in Buffalo that
Mhm.
Baltimore is going to be playing in. And I don't know. So I'll start by saying this. Luke is going with the Ravens. He picked Baltimore. Um, I have gone back and forth, but I've ultimately decided to disagree with Luke. I'm going to take the Bills, and this is no cakewalk. Lamar and Henry are going to have their game, but to me, the fine I'll do it myself offense that Josh Allen is running is just far more impressive. And both quarterbacks have had their success, and both quarterbacks have had their failures in the playoffs. But if there's a guy I trust more to get to the AFC Championship, it's Josh Allen.
Mhm. Yeah.
We know at one point Lamar's playoff magic is going to run out. Maybe it could be this week. We'll see. But I'm taking Buffalo. If you take Baltimore, I won't be surprised at all. I won't be surprised if Baltimore wins. But my gut is telling me Buffalo.
And that's completely valid. However, I've been going back and forth, and I'm going with the Ravens, man. Um,
Okay.
for right after Baltimore beat Pittsburgh, I was like, oh, they'll get beat by Buffalo next week. And I really sat on it and thought about it. Lamar looks good. Lamar looks, like himself. And if they can run the ball like they have all season, um, I could see them taking control of this game early and, you know, controlling time of possession. And I don't think this is going to be a very high scoring game, to be quite honest with you. Maybe like a 24-20 game in favor of the Ravens, I think. But yeah, I'm super excited to watch this game. But I am going with Baltimore, as much as that pains me to do, but
I get it. So I went back to week 4 here on our social media. By the way, follow at the Weekly Gridiron on Instagram if you don't already, especially because TikTok might be going bye-bye very soon.
true.
Hopefully
Yeah.
not, but so I went back because I was curious, and we've actually got the same script we had back in September. I went with the Bills and you two went with the Ravens. We've got the same script here in January.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Back then, you both were right and I was wrong. We'll see if we can get the opposite this time.
Yeah, man. I seeing Allen and Mahomes in the AFC Championship again would be so sick. But if if CJ Stroud doesn't pull it out, but we'll see.
We are praying CJ Stroud pulls it out.
Dude, give me a Ravens or give me a Bills Texans AFC Championship. That'd be so sick. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Um, but anyways, we got one more game to predict here, and I'm still sick over it, man. This should be Penn State and Ohio State we're talking about.
yeah,
Drew Aller, you had to throw that pick.
yeah,
Well, the good news is Penn State's getting most of their guys back, minus Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren, but
yeah.
that was expected,
Our two best players.
pretty much. Um, they also need to get some receivers, especially because I heard Harrison Wallace is transferring.
And Amari Evans. Like, dude,
Amari Evans is transferring too.
yeah,
Man. And I
really.
imagine Julian Fleming's out of eligibility by now,
Yeah, probably. But
unless he's trying to take on that Miami tight end Cam McCormick or whatever his name was in his 9th year. I saw a post today that the guy that was in his ninth year that was out of eligibility at Miami, it said bro started college football during Josh Donaldson's MVP season.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
That's like, oh my God, that's 2016.
Yeah.
God, dude. Hey,
Yep.
man, the bringer of rain. Never forget.
Bringer of rain indeed. Shout out Josh Donaldson if you know, you know. But anyways, we've got the national championship here. Who would have expected the number 7 and the number 8 seed would be the two teams to meet?
I mean, man.
Maybe it's a message to the committee that your seeding system sucks and you need to make some changes because I love rewarding conference championships, but Boise State and Arizona State do not need first round buys.
Yeah.
You don't, I saw another video about this. You don't give the conference champions buys in March Madness. Say like Colgate won the Patriot League or something, they're not getting a 3 seed.
Mm,
That's just not the way it works.
yeah.
So next year, especially because, so how about this? All four teams lost, all four bye teams lost, and none of those games were upsets,
Hmm.
betting wise.
Yeah.
Four of the favored teams won. That's just, it just ruins the imbalance. But, anyways, not going to lie, we have a fantastic matchup here. Ohio State and Notre Dame. And these two have faced off the last two seasons of college football. Last year and the year before that, Ohio State won both times. Ohio State, allow me to pull up a picture, is wearing some glorious, gorgeous, beautiful uniforms in the national championship.
Yep.
They are gorgeous, man. The heritage stripes are coming back. That's what they call those. But I think you know where this is going. Luke went Ohio State. I'm going Ohio State too. I think Ryan Day is going to finish the job. He can't beat a specific team in blue and gold, but he can beat another team in gold called Notre Dame. And
Yeah.
I think he beats him again. Welcome to Penn State if you heard that. That's that's pretty much every day here. But um yeah, I think Ryan Day gets the job done again. This will be his toughest test yet against Notre Dame, though. No doubt about it. This is the best Notre Dame team I've maybe ever seen in my life. They're great, but to me, the Buckeyes are better.
Yeah. Excuse my French, but I think the Buckeyes are gonna shit stomp Notre Dame.
I hope
I don't
you're
know. I
right,
think it's gonna
man.
be close. I think Ohio State is undisputedly right now the best team in college football. Um,
I
also
appreciate it.
to I mean, dude, why can't I think of your receiver's name right now? Who's like insane?
Jeremiah Smith,
Jeremiah Smith. Yes, thank you.
and he's only a freshman too.
He's unreal. Abuka's unreal. Future Steeler, by the way.
I hope.
Um, Quinshon, Quinshon Judkins, excuse me, insane back. So good. Henderson, insane back. So good. I'm not I'm not a big believer in Will Howard, but he does enough to win games. And got dude, on the defensive side of the ball, I mean Jack Sawyer. Give me a break, dude. He's gonna be a stud in the league. I believe he's going into the draft this year.
Yeah. If you allow me to interrupt you for a second, this is another reason why I want them to win so bad, is because when you talk about the draft, Will Howard, this is his final year.
Yeah.
Henderson and Judkins are probably declaring. Abuka's declaring. Captain Jack Sawyer's declaring. Lathan Ransom's declaring. Ohio State's losing a lot of people after this game.
Hmm.
So the time is now. I'm okay with them going like 10-2, 9-3, not making the Big Ten title game next year and sneaking into the playoff if they can win a national championship on Monday. I'll be
Yeah.
fine. But
Yeah.
just win on Monday. That's all I ask. But
Yeah.
anyways, cool.
No, I mean, yeah. Yeah, Ohio State is loaded right now. And I think this is not the window closing after this year, but it would definitely be more difficult. So I think Ohio State definitely needs to get it done. But Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame, they definitely have some opportunity after this year. Not saying Ohio State doesn't, of course, but uh,
Oh, I get it.
if Notre Dame doesn't get it done this year, they could definitely run it back. But yeah, I like the Buckeyes.
Yeah. And if Ohio State wins next year, I'd be cool with Penn State winning. If Ohio State wins this year, I'd be cool with Penn State winning next year.
Yeah, man, if this was Penn State, Ohio State in the Natty,
I
oh
know.
my, I probably would have
Oh,
taken Ohio State, honestly, but still.
we would have got WG down to Atlanta for the game. That's
Oh,
for
dude. That would have been insane.
I know.
But yeah,
Yeah, that covers it for this week. Just the two of us. Luke will be back on set next week, hopefully. Feel better, Luke.
Spurs
Uh,
up.
celebrate your Mike Vrabel hiring this week, and we'll hear about it next week.
There we go.
But yeah, I'm probably gonna go figure out the rest of my day, apply to some internships.
Nice, man. Here we go. I gotta hop on that too. I'll be
I'm
doing
going
that
for
soon.
some play-by-play stuff.
Nice, bro.
Out Washington Wild Things, hopefully, is the goal right now.
That's
So
so sick. Let's go.
I know. Hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
We'll
man.
see what happens. So, all right, man.
Alrighty.
This was Adam and
Dante.
we'll see y'all next week with Luke included.
Peace.